"Hey, how's it going?" So, while they were digging deep to build a new subway station, a crew of workers comes across this really strange cave that just smells awful, you know? They head inside to investigate and are totally shocked to see these huge piles of garbage covering a massive area. As they're looking around, they don't even notice the giant spiders creeping around or the mysterious tentacle that's following them. Deeper inside, the group finds a large sphere that looks a lot like an egg, but they figure it must be some kind of precious gem. Suddenly, they're startled by someone new, but it turns out it's just their boss, who came down to see what was holding up the construction. Spotting the egg, the boss tells the workers to haul it off so they can sell it. Meanwhile, this guy Ki-dong wanders off on his own after stepping in some weird goo. His flashlight starts to flicker and he tries to fix it, not realizing that the light is actually waking something up. A massive creature rises up from the middle of the trash, and Ki-dong just screams when he sees it. He runs back to the group and tries to warn them about the monster, but they can already hear it moving around them. All of a sudden, a tentacle shoots out and grabs one of the workers. Everyone starts running in a total panic as more tentacles burst from the garbage to snatch as many people as possible. Ki-dong cries out when he sees his own brother get taken too, and the others have to drag him away to escape. The group manages to get out of the cave just before a tentacle smashes into the garbage, causing the piles to collapse and completely seal the entrance. Up on the surface, near the construction site, a man named Reti and his son, Xiaojie, are picking up some nails from the ground that almost wrecked their truck's tires. Just then, they see a flock of birds flying away scared, and a truck comes barreling down the road at top speed, fleeing from the construction zone. The pair jumps out of the way, and the truck runs right over the nails, causing it to swerve and knock a few boxes off the back. The truck just keeps going, not noticing a thing. So, Reti opens up one of the boxes and finds the egg from the cave. Thinking he can sell it for some good money, he puts it in his vehicle. On the way home, Xiaojie puts his ear to the shell and gets a fright when he hears something moving inside. But Reti just thinks he's imagining things. When they get to the scrapyard, Reti spots a fancy-looking car parked near his house and his mood just plummets. He takes off his wedding ring before going inside and finds his ex-wife, Lina, who is definitely not happy that her son is living in such a dirty place. To make things worse, her new fiancé, Liren, brought a bunch of cool toys for Xiaojie, stuff that Reti can't afford. Lina then announces she's moving to another province and taking Xiaojie with her so he can have a better future. Liren explains that one day, Xiaojie could take over his company, pointing out that the boy shouldn't be spending his days picking through garbage like his father. This makes Reti furious, and he takes a swing at Liren, starting a big fight. Lina tries to separate them, but they both just ignore her and start biting each other like animals. It's only when Lina leaves with Xiaojie that Liren finally gives up the fight and goes after them. Later that night, Reti's father, Jai, is patching up his son's wounds while watching the TV. A reporter is trying to cover the disappearance of the workers at the site, but the signal keeps cutting out. Outside, the family dog is pacing nervously in circles near the pickup truck. It turns out the egg has started to crack, and it's making all the animals in the area go crazy. The dog starts barking, and Jai thinks there might be an intruder, so he goes out to investigate. He notices the truck shaking back and forth and some strange goo dripping from it. Then, he looks through the window and is shocked to see a tentacle. Terrified, Jai runs back inside to tell his son, but when Reti goes out to look, the entire truck is gone. Suddenly, something falls to the ground, and they both look up to discover that the truck has been lifted up by several tentacles. The monster sees the men and immediately hides itself inside the truck, which then drops back to the ground. Before either of them can react, the tentacles shoot out again to attack them, and they bolt back into the house. Reti is so freaked out that he almost leaves his dad outside when he locks the door. At that moment, they hear a car pulling up and are horrified to see it's Lina coming back with Xiaojie. When the boy tries to run to his dad, he's captured by a tentacle. Lina immediately grabs her son's arms and tries to pull him back, but the monster is way too strong and won't let go. Luckily, Reti shows up with a knife and slashes the tentacle, freeing Xiaojie. Then, the family teams up to throw gasoline on the tentacles and light it up with a lighter. The monster catches fire and lets out an agonizing scream as it slowly dies, and Reti realizes he just lost his chance to make some cash. When they're all back in the house, Reti wonders how the creature even got there, and Xiaojie answers that it came out of the egg. Just then, Liren arrives with his bodyguards and sees that everyone is okay, getting annoyed with Lina for calling him and interrupting his business meeting for nothing. Suddenly, everything starts to shake and the lights flicker as an even bigger monster appears in the yard. Soon, the house begins to fall apart because the tentacles are squeezing the whole structure. The roof splits open and the humans finally see the creature's terrifying face. It wants to get into the house and starts smashing the windows, sending everyone into a panic. Liren immediately bails, not caring about his fiancée, and his terrified bodyguards run off with him. The monster lets out a roar and starts throwing the men around, knocking over a bunch of junk before grabbing Reti. It looks at the man up close before tossing him away too. Next, it turns to the family, who are trying to make a run for it. However, Jai falls, and Reti stops to help him up. The monster uses this chance to snatch Xiaojie, pushing both parents away in the process. After sniffing Xiaojie, the creature dives into the ground and disappears with the child. Reti and Lena run to look inside the hole that appeared, but somehow it has already closed up. Lena is in complete shock, while a desperate Reti tries to dig into the dirt with his bare hands. Eventually, he gives up and tries to comfort Lena, who just pushes him away and slaps him while having an emotional breakdown. On the TV, they're still talking about the possibility of a monster being on the loose, so a furious Lena shuts the set off. A few minutes later, their grieving is interrupted by a marine biology professor, Laoya, and his assistant Ali, who had been tracking the monster with a special device. After asking a bunch of excited questions, the professor reveals he's an old friend of Jai's. Laoya examines the tentacle up close and explains that they killed the baby of the creature from the cave. When the mother creature came back looking for its egg, it smelled Xiaojie and thought he was its offspring. This means the boy is probably still alive. Meanwhile, Xiaojie wakes up in the garbage cave just in time to push away a giant spider that was about to land on his face. He calls out for his parents, but a mysterious swarm of insects starts flying around his head. Then the monster appears and Xiaojie backs away, scared. The creature opens its outer faceplate, revealing a smile. Then it licks the boy, trying to calm him down. Since Xiaojie is still scared and really hates the licking, the monster lets out a roar of frustration. Right then, they hear music and look around, confused, until they realize the sound is coming from the creature's belly. The monster starts screaming in pain and falls to the ground, while Xiaojie just watches, not understanding what's going on. Then, the creature runs to hide behind the garbage and tries to spit out the machine that's inside it, but it can't. Xiaojie takes the chance to try and escape, but he can't find a way out. He finds a radio in the trash and tries to use it, but it's broken. Hearing the monster's pained cries, Xiaojie feels sorry for it and decides he should help out. There are some wires hanging out of the creature's mouth, and the boy starts pulling on them until he manages to get the machine out of it. Instantly relieved, the monster grabs Xiaojie to thank him for saving its life and then sets him down on the ground before collapsing onto the garbage pile to take a nap. Back at the scrapyard, Laoya tells the family they should probably give up on their son, but Jai reminds the professor that he owes him one, especially after ruining his life by suing the factory where he worked, which made him lose his job. Feeling guilty, Laoya takes the family to his laboratory, where he keeps some pretty creepy statues of the monsters he studies. He believes the only way to save Xiaojie is to put the creature to sleep with tranquilizers that are strong enough to take down animals even bigger than elephants. Laoya also reveals he's developed a chemical that can kill the monster, but it should only be used if the creature is truly evil, making it their absolute last resort. Meanwhile, Qidong can't stop thinking about the friends he lost and starts to plan his revenge. In the cave, Xiaojie watches the monster eating garbage and tries to find something better to eat for himself. However, there's nothing edible around. When the creature tries to share its garbage with him, Xiaojie realizes it only eats this stuff because it's the only thing available here. Noticing that the monster is laughing while it eats, Xiaojie starts tossing garbage right into its mouth to feed it, turning the whole thing into a little game between them. Seeing that the monster isn't actually evil, Xiaojie begins to play with it, pretending to be a superhero taking down a powerful enemy. The creature even falls down from Xiaojie's imaginary attack, happy to be playing along with him. A little while later, Xiaojie is napping on the monster's belly when he's woken up by a strange noise. He goes to check it out, but is suddenly grabbed by a stranger. It's one of the construction workers, and he wants to kill the creature and save the boy. When Xiaojie tells him to stop because the monster doesn't actually eat humans, the man thinks he's delusional and says that all of his buddies are dead. The guy tries to sneak up on the creature, carefully dodging the tentacles as he goes. However, the monster senses he's there and wakes up, immediately starting to chase him. The worker grabs Xiaojie and takes off running in a panic, but in his desperation, he ends up dropping the boy into some filthy water. With the creature getting closer, the man just keeps running without helping Xiaojie, who slowly starts to drown. Just as the worker gets cornered, a giant spider creeps up right behind him. The monster sees the spider and lets out this furious roar, which makes the smaller creature flee and causes the worker to pass out from fear. Then, the monster uses a tentacle to pull Xiaoji out of the water at the very last second. It gently places him on the ground and tries to wake him up, but Xiaoji doesn't react and the monster actually starts to cry. Meanwhile, Laoya is getting ready to go after the monster with the boy's parents. While waiting in Retti's car, Lina finds some strange medicine and a piece of paper tucked away with his wedding ring. The paper reveals that Retti has a chronic illness and Lina just starts to cry. When Retti gets in the car, Lina asks him why he never said anything about being sick. Retti just says she's imagining things and that he only wants to focus on spending some time with his son. Their conversation is cut short by Jai, who tells them it's time to get going. When the family reaches the tunnel, they're surprised to find a group of workers led by Ki Dong. The crew is using explosives to blast the cave open again. They tell the family to get out of there because they're about to unleash a poison to kill the creature. Retti begs them to stop since Xiao Jie is still alive and the poison would kill him too, eh? During the argument, Ki Dong insists they can't let the creature live or it'll be attacking the city soon enough. Retti starts telling him off, saying the plan could kill any survivors left inside. While this is happening, Chai uses the distraction to sabotage the workers' gas machine. Taking advantage of all the confusion, the family finally slips into the cave. As they walk through the massive piles of garbage, Ali uses her device and the group follows the signal it gives off. Retti finds Xiaojie's keychain on the ground and gets a little bit of his hope back. Eventually, they find the monster lying next to Xiaojie's body and they all assume the worst. The parents want to run to their son, but Jai stops them, warning that they can't possibly fight a creature that huge. The monster can hear them, but for now, it just ignores them. Then, Laoya fires a tranquilizer dart, which the creature easily deflects with a tentacle. Now pretty ticked off, the creature roars and puts its face mask back on. Retti shoots a second dart, while Lina throws a bottle of the chemical compound directly at the creature. At first, it seems like nothing happened, and the monster even has time to place Xiaoji in a safe spot before turning to the group, ready for a fight. However, the tranquilizer finally kicks in, and the massive monster falls unconscious. The parents quickly scramble up the garbage piles to get to Xiaoji and listen to his heart to confirm that he's still alive. Meanwhile, Laoya collects a blood sample from a tentacle, while Ali records the whole process. To everyone's surprise though, the tranquilizer didn't work as planned, and the creature wakes up in a really bad mood. The creature extends a tentacle to rescue Xiaoji from the humans, but it's stopped by an arrow shot by the workers, who now surround the monster and try to kill it. Even more furious, the beast starts to attack, knocking down a few of the men. Refusing to give up, the humans fight back, throwing several hooks to pin the creature down. One of the workers grabs a flamethrower and starts to burn the beast's body, but a tentacle knocks him to the ground. At the same time, a few other workers find Laoya's bag with the poison inside and steal it. Laoya and Ali try to stop them, but they can barely react before Ki Dong grabs the vial. He throws the poison right in the creature's face, which feels a deep, searing pain. One of the men tries to get some dynamite ready, but Jai tackles him to stop it. Then, Ki Dong fires a huge arrow straight into the monster's chest to speed up its death. At that exact moment, Xiaoji wakes up and is devastated to see the workers throwing more and more chemicals on the creature. He screams at them to stop, crying his eyes out. The monster realizes the boy is alive and gets a surge of strength from its desire to protect him, managing to fight back and throw all the humans into the garbage piles. The worker finally shoves Jai aside and lights the dynamite before tossing it, causing a small explosion that makes the mountains of trash shake and causes Xiaoji to fall. The bloody creature stretches out its tentacles and catches the boy just in time. Unfortunately, a massive pile of garbage is about to fall right on top of Xiaojie, and the monster puts itself in front of him as a shield. Already very weak from all the attacks, the creature's injuries are made even worse by the weight of the trash. While Xiaoji begs his parents to help his friend, the workers surround the monster and start attacking it again. They ignore the boy's screams as they stab into the beast's belly, which tries to reach for Xiaojie one last time. At that moment, Ki Dong deals a fatal blow, killing the creature for good. Afterwards, he removes his spear and finds only garbage inside the monster's body, without a single human body inside. Suddenly, several survivors come out from their hiding spot and explain that it was the giant spiders that killed the humans, and that the big monster was only protecting them. Every time it attacked, it was purely in self-defense. As the workers drop their weapons, Ki Dong looks at the creature's body and realizes that he's become the real monster. Sometime later, Reddy's house is in much better shape, thanks to the money he earned from giving interviews about his adventure. He always tells reporters that the monster was protecting his son, But they never believe him because, you know, monsters are supposedly always evil. Reti points out all the damage that humans are doing to the planet and asks who the real monsters are. Lena breaks off her engagement with Liren and asks to marry Reti again. Reti happily accepts and throws his medicine away as he hugs Lena. And that's how Underground Monster, the 2022 adventure drama film, ends. And I hope to see you in the next video.